Can you guys hear me? Yeah? Alright, I kind of feel, can I be honest with you? Two people are with me? Yeah. I kind of feel like a pilot wearing this apparatus. But they think it would be good, so. Alright. Quick story before I start. Not even related to anything we're going to talk about this weekend. Can I? Is it alright? Are we still in the safety circle? Are we alright? Alright. Who's been to the Shed Aquarium? Good. I'm glad to see some people have ventured outside of Naperville and surrounding Styx areas. Down to the city where I'm from. Alright, Shed Aquarium. It's a pretty cool place. Lots of fish. I don't know what else. I haven't been there in like 10 years to be honest with you. But in Atlanta, that's a place I have been in the past couple of years, they looked at the Shed Aquarium and they said, we're going to make something so big that's going to make the Shed Aquarium look like nothing. So they made this aquarium right next to the CNN World headquarters, kind of a central part of downtown. I'm talking, they have a retractable roof. When they brought the whales in, they flew them in by helicopter. I mean, to put them in this thing, they have everything you can imagine in this place. We have a lot of friends in Atlanta. I've got to go down there and speak a couple times. A couple of my friends, rented it open, wanted to go and check it out. So a couple families got together. One of the families has a son, and he's about 18 years old. He was 17 at the time, and he's autistic. And sometimes the autism, it kind of has its way with him, and sometimes he's a little better. As he gets older, it gets better with it. This particular day, he was doing good with it. He wanted to go off alone. And they're like, all right, well, you can just go off alone and check out the fish and whatever else you want to check out. Meet us back here at 3 o'clock. He said, okay, so 3 o'clock comes, and they're sitting there waiting, and he's not showing up. He's not showing up. 3:15 comes, and they see him come out of this door. It says, employees only. And he comes, like, sneaking, like, out of the back, and he's like, walks out, and he's completely drenched in water. I mean, it's just soaking wet in water. He said, like, what happened to you? What's wrong with you? Why are you wet? And he's like, well, I got hot. I didn't know what to do. I just went back there, and I cooled off. Okay, fair enough. PT would say. Fair enough. They take him home, he's wet, he's got his backpack, he gets home, he doesn't think about it, puts his backpack on the ground, goes up to his room, his mom's unpacking for the day, she grabs his backpack and opens it to come to find out that he had stolen a penguin from the aquarium. He went in the thing, he went backstage and he went in the thing, and he captured a penguin and he stuck it in his bag, and he stole it, he took it to his house. Now what I'm trying to figure out, how do you feed it on the way home? Like, little snacks through the hatch. They had to go back the next day and return the penguin to the thing. Can you imagine walking back with the penguins and, yeah, we took it. So they returned it the next day. It's one of the funniest stories I've ever heard. But the reason I always tell it is it kind of gets me on track with Shed, like the Shed Aquarium, this aquarium, things like that. I love visiting those places. And in Chicago, you know, you kind of have all that stuff in one area. You have the museum, you have the Shed, you have all this other stuff. But what I like, the museums, the art museums. You have the big one, then you have the contemporary one, which is kind of a weird vibe. That big one, I found a way to get in free. On Thursday nights, it's free night. And I love going in there and looking at the new paintings I have. At the school I went to before I came to Moody, I was an art major. I did black and white photography. It was my life. That's all I did. I worked for newspapers. I worked for magazines. That's all I did. So I love to go check out some of the art stuff. And just about maybe 4 weeks ago, I went with my girlfriend, and there was a painting by Jackson Pollock. I don't know if anybody knows who that is. Real old artist. He's dead now. But what he did was he would take paint, and he would thin it out. And he would have these big canvases, and he would just drip. Drips of paint all over it. And they called him Jack the Dripper. Because that's what he would do. And he'd make these 20-foot paintings. I mean, they would sell for millions of dollars. I just wanted to see one. I can't buy one. They won't let me touch one. They won't even let you within 5 feet of it. I just wanted to see the stupid thing. So I get there. Is the Jackson Pollock painting here? Oh yeah, it's here. So I go in. And I'm standing there kind of in awe looking at this painting. Spending more time than any normal person should looking at this thing. And going, what is it that makes this painting so special? If you look at it, really, it's just a bunch of drips. I mean, I could do that. Most people here could do that. But if we did that, and we took it and we said, we went to the art museum and we said, we want to submit this for viewing, the guy would probably punch you in the face and then call security on you because it would be a joke. But somehow he does it in such a way that they look at it and they say, yeah, this is it. And the more I look at it, the thing that I'm attracted to is a signature down the bottom. That kind of solidifies that this is a 100% original Jackson Pollock painting. It's a signature. Without that, it'd really just be this thing on the wall, right? Think about the Mona Lisa or something like that, or a Van Gogh painting. Without that signature, it's really nothing, right? And you see that, and you see that signature. That's what drew my eye to it, and I said, that is a Jackson Pollock. And we think about image, and we're here this week and talking about image. And what is image to us? The simplest way I can put it is the vibe that you try to put out. It isn't true when we think about things. It's about names, right? The Abercrombie, the Gap. Because we could get that same stuff, couldn't we, from Kmart? The same sweaters, the same jeans, but it doesn't have that name. People look at it and they don't see the name, therefore it's not important. And I think that's a good starting point for us tonight. Think about some things maybe that you have, that you buy just because of that name, so you can say, yeah, I have this Abercrombie t-shirt. And you know what's crazy? In Chicago, there's Michigan Avenue too, with all the stores on it. Before I came, I took a walk through some of those stores to kind of look at the latest fashion. They have these shirts, they're called D Squared. They're probably the same material as my Dare shirt here. $275 for a t-shirt, $275. They're selling like mad. People are buying these shirts. Why? It's an image thing, right? Yeah, I paid $275 for mine. Well, I paid $1 for my Dare t-shirt when I graduated. Okay. Jimmy Choo shoes. You ever hear those? Jimmy Choo shoes for women? $625 for a pair of high heels. There's more material in a Pringles can. And they pay $625. People are buying these like mad. Leather jackets. Leather jackets. Same thing you can get at Wilson's for like $100. $1,600 for leather jackets. Prada purses. Prada sunglasses. The cheapest Prada sunglasses I could find? $425 for sunglasses. They probably don't even work right. You can get better ones somewhere else. People buy that because of the image, right? You like my Pradas? Cars. What do all cars have in common?
4 wheels.
4 wheels. They all have 4 tires. They all have 4 tires. Now what's on top of that is what makes it different, right? What's so different from how a Kia gets you one place to how a luxury BMW or an Escalade gets you to one place? Heated seats? Who cares? It's the fact that I have an Escalade and I paid $75,000 for mine, and you paid $99 a month for maybe 5 months. I don't know how much a Kia is. Not that expensive. But isn't that right? You roll up to a club in a Kia, you think they're going to treat you the same as if you roll up in an Escalade? No. It's the image thing, right? The image thing. When BT asked me to come and speak here and I started thinking about it, I did a little research on Naperville. I didn't really know much about it. I've been here one other time in my life to North Central College. I don't know where that is. BT told me it was downtown. I don't know where that is. I ran a 2-minute race there and then I left and drove 6 hours back home. So I researched a little bit on Naperville. I tried to dig up a little dirt on you guys, see what the image thing was like in Naperville, Illinois. I couldn't find much, but I did find some stuff. For instance, Naperville, the country's best place to be a kid in 2004. I hope that's good or bad. The city's been named the most friendly city in America. That's cool, but listen to who named them that. The Zero Population Growth Group. Get this is the one I really love. The AARP listed Naperville as one of its top 10 small towns for senior citizens. That's special. Walking Magazine listed Naperville on its top 10 list for walking towns in the United States. Next time you're out walking, think about that. I looked at the high schools, Naperville North, Naperville Central, and then I realized that there's only like one person that goes here, that's in that school here, and it's Jordan. What I did find out is that those 2 schools may be the smartest kids I know. If anybody here goes there or knows anybody that goes there and you want to tutor me, I'll pay top dollar. What else? What else? All the exciting things I could find about Naperville. If you guys have your Bibles, we're going to take a look. We're going to start tonight in Colossians. Small book, right after Philippians. If you find Galatians, it's Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians. Go eat popcorn is the way I remember it. You'll never forget it now. Right after Philippians, it's Colossians 1. This is where we're going to start. And I want to start basically at the beginning. Basically with creation. And look at God's creating. And then look at us and where we stand in that. And kind of start us off on this journey of image this week. The thing I want to hit on tonight is this image that we have in God creating everything. You know, Genesis 1, Genesis 2 tells the creation story about everything that was created. I mean, mountains, everything created like that. God spoke it, boom, it was there. Let there be, it was there. Everything that He said came. These huge mountains, beautiful places in the world that we'll never see are there. But the thing that gets me every time is that He chose to put His image where? Where? In us, right? Genesis 1:27. He made man and He put His image in man. And that's kind of where I want to start tonight. Colossians 1. You guys there? You guys have it? Colossians 1, verse 15. It starts in verse 15. It says He, and that's referring to Jesus. If you go back a couple verses, you'll see that it says He is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn of all creation. Right off the bat, Jesus, image, God. Remember that. He is the image of the invisible God. Even though He's equal to God, His image is in God. The firstborn of all creation. Verse 16. For by Him all things were created, in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or dominions, or rulers or authorities. All things were created through Him and for Him. He's the firstborn. All that stuff in heaven, angels, whatever else do you think is heaven? Created. Everything on earth, that's us, that's all our stuff, created it. He was there before all that. And we think of paintings and we think, yeah, we can create that. You give me some paint, you give me some crayons, you give me whatever, and I can create that. But this right here is telling us that Jesus was here before anything. There was nothing, and He created everything from nothing, including us. That's unthinkable. That, to me, I don't know how to think about that. I could put you in a room and say, yeah, create something. I'm going to put you in this room alone. All I'm asking for is a little crayon drawing. You say, Chris, I can't do it. I don't have anything. See, Jesus didn't have that problem. It's not like He could go to Ace Hardware or whatever He had there and say, okay, yeah, you know, Slim, give me some mountains this week. I'll be back for some oxygen next week. You got that order of the oceans for me because I'll be back for that. No, it was like this. It was created like that. All this stuff. Amazing. For by Him all things were created, in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or dominions or rulers or authorities. All things were created through Him and for Him. If you're reading in the NIV, the end of that verse says, all things were created by Him and for Him, which includes you. Some of you may be sitting here tonight saying, you know, I can't even remember the last time I was at church. Maybe it was Christmas. Maybe I went on Easter 4 or 5 years ago because my grandma was in town and she made me go. This is saying that you were created by Him and for Him. If you think about that for a minute, and you really understand what that's saying, I can think of one person who could be out of the job immediately. That would be Dr. Phil and some of these other feel-good guys who tell you all this stuff. But if you just really think about that, you were created by Him and for Him. You were created by Jesus and for Jesus, who is in the image of God. That's unthinkable to me. I can't even really comprehend that right now. Verse 17. It says, He is before all things, and in Him all things hold together. Now, just to put it in perspective, some of this is a small glimpse of creation. A small glimpse of creation that Paul is talking about here. Just to kind of put this in range for us. The sun, which Jesus created like that, let there be light, there was sun. That sucker 864,000 miles in diameter. 864,000 miles. That's 100 times bigger than the planet we live on. If you were to take Earth, you could fit 1.3 million Earths in the sun's boundaries. Like that, it was created. He said, let there be light. It was created. The nearest stardust, Betelgeuse, 100 million miles away. It was like that. There was no messing around there. When he made creation, he made creation. All these crazy things he made. And he made them so quick that we can't even really think about it. The last part of that verse, you say, well, what does that mean? And when I read it, I don't know if I fully know what it means. He is before all things, and all things in him hold together. A lot of people have talked about this verse and say, okay, they hold together. I get that. My body's held together. The earth is holding together by some force. And scientists and everybody, they'll try to dissect it and say, okay, we'll figure it out. In your body is made up a lot of oxygen atoms. In an atom, there's the nucleus. That's kind of like the brain part of it. In that nucleus, there's 8 positive protons, and then there's 8 neutrons, which is negative. Now, according to science and according to what they say, when something like this, when you have 8 positively charged something and 8 negatively charged something, there should be a nuclear reaction and you should blow up. You should blow up. George Gamow, a guy that founded the Big Bang Theory, I don't know if I understand that either. There was a boom like the 4th of July and then the earth was here. It says this, the fact we live in a world which practically every object is a potential nuclear explosive without being blown to bits is due to the extreme difficulties that attend the starting of a nuclear reaction. See, they can't understand it, that all things are held together by Christ. That we are made for him and by him, and that everything that we do, everything that we see or say or experience is going to be held together by him. All coming back to the fact that he is in the image of God. Now, when I look at that, I say, okay, how come he didn't put his image in something so much more cooler and cuter and beautiful than us? Because when I look at it, man, I screw up a lot. And I think a lot of us in this room do too. There's some ugly things about us. Why didn't he put his image in the mountains, and the beauty of the mountains, or the beauty of the oceans? No, he put his image in us. And that's the first thing I want us to kind of start to think about this weekend. It's that we were made in the image of God. Paul kind of very, very briefly talking about that. That our image is in Christ. We were made by him and for him. If you turn to Psalm 139, David just blows this whole thing just out of proportion here. When he starts talking about our creation, if you've never read this, I challenge you, not just tonight when you listen to me, but some other times during this weekend. Go through this scripture, read it. Read it when you're alone. Read it when you wake up in the morning. And see how it starts to change you when you look at this. David says this, Psalm 139, verse 1. O Lord, you have searched me and you've known me. Now to me, that kind of freaks me out a little bit because that means I'm transparent to God. That he sees right through me. For some of us in this room, that makes you a little uncomfortable. Because there's no one else that can do that. No one else that knows everything about you so intimately and so finitely. God does. Oh Lord, you search me and know me. You know when I sit down and when I rise up. You discern my thoughts from afar. You search out my path and my lying down and are acquainted with all my ways. In 3 chapters, to put it in plain English, God knows everything about you. Everything that you're going to do, everything that you're going to say. He knows it. He knows your thoughts, he knows your actions, and he knows your speech. That's pretty much what makes us up. Verse 4. Even before a word is on my tongue, behold, O Lord, you know it altogether. Can you imagine what God sees when we talk? Even when we pray? God, I already do. What about it? I just need to, no, I already did that. A couple of years ago, actually, I did that. It's kind of this weird thing that we don't really fully comprehend. But this is God. And he knows everything about us. Why? Because he made us in his image. He made us to be his image bearers. So he's going to give us these things. Even before a word is on my tongue, behold, O Lord, you know it altogether. You hem me in, behind and before, and lay your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It is high, I cannot attain it. See, at this point, David is just going, God, I don't know. This is shutting me down. I can't understand how you know these things about me. I can read it, I can write it, but it's shutting my brain down. That's unthinkable. I don't know what to do because of this. Has anyone in this room been there before? You think about God and it's just like, I don't know. There's too much here. Maybe for the first time, some of you are seeing this. Knowledge is too wonderful for me. Just high, I cannot attain it. Verse 7. He starts to think here, all right, I can't know it. I'm going to leave. I'm going to get out of here. He says, where shall I go from your spirit, or where shall I flee from your presence? If I ascend to heaven, you are there. If I make my bed in Sheol, which is hell, you are there. If I take the wings of the morning and dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, even there your hand shall lead me, and your right hand shall hold me. If I say, surely the darkness shall cover me, and the light about me be night, even the darkness is not dark to you. The night is bright as day, for darkness is as light with you. God is unescapable. Wherever you go, He is there, whether you know Him or not. Whether you've heard this salvation thing, personal relationship with God or not, know this, that God created you, everything about you, and He knows everything about you. Wherever you go, He's still going to be there. And He's still going to know. It says, even if I go to hell, you will know. You will be there and you will see me. Here's the part for me that is just crazy in verse 13. It says, you formed my inward parts. You knitted me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. And that fearfully and wonderfully made, if you switch it a little bit, I'm full of wonder. I'm full of wonder. Talking about knitting together your mother's womb. Let me just give you a couple facts that happen in the human body about us, that happen in that womb and they develop as we grow and we become adults. The average human brain is about 100 billion nerve cells. Nerve impulses to and from the brain travel as fast as 170 miles per hour in your head. It's impossible to sneeze with your eyes open. It takes the interaction of 72 different muscles to produce human speech. The average cough comes out of your mouth at 60 miles an hour. Think about how many germs also come out with that cough. An average human scalp has 100,000 hairs. Your skull is made up of 29 bones. The average surface of the human intestine, 656 square feet. The surface of the human skin, 6.5 square feet. 15 million blood cells are destroyed in the human body every second. Every second. And that's without the use of drugs or drinking or anything like that. So think about a heavy drinker or a heavy drug user. That's probably almost triple. During a 24-hour period, the average human will breathe 23,040 times. Human blood travels 60,000 miles per day on its journey through the body. One last thing. Talking about being in the womb and being knitted together in the womb. Day 42, from the time you're conceived, from conception, from that time on, from day 43 for the next 130 days, you go from one brain cell, you get one brain cell at that. Day 43, one brain cell. Some of you guys are like, I know it. I'm trying so hard to hang on to it. I got one. From that day, from day 43, for the next 130 days, your body will make about 100 billion brain cells. Do you know what that breaks down to be? 9,500 brain cells per second for the next 130 days. You wonder why you sleep a lot when you come out. Because you're making brain cells at the clip of 9,500 per second when you come out. For you formed my inward parts, you knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works. My soul knows it very well. I believe the NIV says my soul knows it full well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was being made in the secret, intricately woven in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed substance. In your book were written, every one of them, the days that were formed for me, when as yet there were none of them. Some of you are saying, okay, I've heard of this thing called the book of life. And I don't know, I think maybe there's names or something in it. God's saying, before that I saw you. I saw you when you're even a thought to your Father. I knew you. I knew what you were going to be. For some of us, we think of God and we think of all these different things that get mixed up in this thing that they call religion or whatever. Let's just boil it down to before you were even around, before you were even a thought. The Bible's telling us that God saw you and He knew you. He knew all these things about you. David's response to that is, I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I know that full well. And I just ask tonight, do you know that? Do you know that? When you think about God, when you think of why are you here, and what's your purpose, and what image are you trying to project? Is it one that says, yeah, I know this full well that I am a product of the living God, that I was formed by the living God? Or is it something else? For a long time in my life, it was something else. I cared too much about what people thought, what I didn't even know. And I ask, what image are you trying to project? As we start tonight, what image in your life are you trying to project? Maybe you rolled in here with a friend. Maybe you've gone to church ever since you were 2 days old. You know all the church stuff. You know all the hymns. You know everything. The question's still the same. What image are you trying to project? Is it the Abercrombie facade? The Prada? The Gap? All these things where the outside is looking real good, but the inside is just a mess? Is it? Think about that. Because if it's not you, it's one of your close friends. They may be crying out to you. Do you know full well that He made you in His image? I think tonight we can count on 3 groups of people being in this room. 3 sets of people. The first group is this. Has anyone ever seen Antique Roadshow? Anyone? There are people in here that saw Antique Roadshow? Oh gosh, good. North Dakota, they never even heard of it. Basically what it is, this is kind of scary. This guy travels from town to town, and he comes into a town, and he'll set up shop, and people they'll bring him something, you know, like this is a dollar bill, and they'll give him this dollar bill, and he'll look at it, and he'll assess it, and he'll give it value. He'll say, this is from the Ming Dynasty, this is a $2 bill, very rare, $3 million it's worth now. And he's going to declare the $3 million worth on this dollar bill. So people roll in, and they bring him stuff. You know, in some ways, I think, you know, that can be God for us. But there's some people in this room, you just don't know that you have declared value. You go through every day of your life doing the same thing, the gerbil on the wheel, just going through life, trying to get ahead, happy times, bad times. But you have no declared value. And maybe tonight, you know what? Not me, but maybe God is just trying to say through this, you know what, let me give you a declared value. Let me not just make you and set you and just push you off into this world as an addition 1 of 500. But no, let me make you 1 of 1. Let me not stamp some stupid name on you. Let me stamp my name, Jesus Christ, on your heart. Maybe He's giving you value. Maybe that's a declared value that you need tonight that you haven't had. The second type of person is somebody who is just, maybe you know Jesus. Maybe you know what your image is. Maybe you went to Awana. Maybe you grew up in Sunday school. Maybe you've been the good kid all your life. Maybe you've even dared to say no. But something happened along the way. I know there's a few married people in this room. Maybe you can attest to this. When you're married, you get all these kind of cool gifts. But one of them is, you'll get like a serving platter or serving fork or something. I mean, some people will really get you a fork for your wedding gift. And you will go, oh my goodness, it's a fork and like a pie slicer, and it's fine china, that's what it is. And you'll go, oh my goodness, it's the fine china, and you'll put it away in a cabinet, and you will never use it. And someday, when I get married and people get that to me, I hope to trade it in with the money. Give me a plasma or something. My wife, she'll probably beat me down. But what happens is you just lock this stuff away, right? And then all of a sudden the people who got it for you are in town, and you want to impress them, you need to get out the fine china, you go and get it, and it's like, ugh, because it tarnishes. It just gets black and I don't even know what it looks like. I don't have any. I don't know I think my dad sold ours, but I've never seen it. But you can take it and you can buy that stuff that's on the infomercials when you're sleeping, and you can dip it in, and you pull it out and it shines. For some people in this room, you've just been put away. Something's happened to you. It's either boyfriend, girlfriend, parents. Something happened to you where you were tarnished. And something happened that left a spot on you. Maybe tonight it's just God saying, come back to me. Let me make you shine. Let me wash that off and let me make you shine. It's just the heater. We're not blowing up. The third type of person, real easy, real simple, is the faker. Chicago, one of the coolest things about Chicago, where Moody is, it's on Chicago in LaSalle. You can walk down Chicago Avenue, you can get McDonald's, a Dunkin' Donut, and the fakest Gucci purse you will ever see in your life. I'm not into the purses. I like the McDonald's and the Dunkin' Donuts. But there are purses, and my girlfriend's real into this. She likes these purses, and we always have to stop. It's at the same corner. We always have to stop, and she just looks at them. She never buys one. And it's always this guy, and he's got them all out, and you buy one, right? It's the whole image thing. You buy this purse that says Dolce & Gabbana or Gucci or Prada. You get it, but it's a fake. It's all good on the outside. You're walking around and people see that little triangle Prada emblem and they say, wow, she's got it going on. She's got style. But when you open it, it's nothing special. There may be rips or tears in it. For some of us in this room, like I talked about earlier, that's how we're walking around in our lives. To be honest with you, that's how I am a lot of the times. Sometimes whether it's pride or whatever it is, it's so easy to put out the vibe that says, yeah, I'm all right, I'm doing fine. I'm the star athlete. I had the head in the play. I got the best looking girlfriend, the best looking boyfriend. My dad's got money, this, that. But really, on the inside you're dying every day. And you're just faking it. You might know church, you might know all the Bible verses. Again, but it's all fake. It's all fake. And the image isn't really there. And you're just dying more and more every day inside. And think about what group you're in. Because I think everybody falls somewhere in that. Are you the one with no declared value? Are you the one that somewhere along this trip, this crazy thing of life, your image has kind of been messed up, has been tarnished by something? Or are you just faking? I think tonight is a good starting point to look at what your image really means. As we go into this weekend, don't just take this and make this the Friday night thing and just kind of let it go. I encourage you guys, take Psalm 139. Go back and read that verse in Colossians. Read through these things. See what God does in your life. Maybe the Bible's new to you. Maybe you have questions. We have leaders all around here. They'd be happy to meet with you and talk to you about what it means. After we get done here, if you need to talk, I'm going to make myself available. There's a couple other activities, and I know that Kurt and the other leaders will be available. Please just grab someone, talk to them. If you need to confess, if you need to say, look, man, I've been living as a fake. I've been involved, I've been doing this for too long. Please make tonight the night that you do that, because the image that we have is in God. It's nowhere else. And He knew that before He made us, before He set us going. He didn't just make us and say, okay, here you go. He put His signature on us. That thing that we're drawn to. That logo that we're drawn to. We see that on other people. I should say Jesus Christ right here, right on our heart. Can you imagine if other people looked at us and saw that for what it really meant? How things would be different? They didn't see Abercrombie or Gap. They saw follower of Jesus Christ. Follower of Jesus Christ. Think about that. That's where I want to start tonight. I'm going to pray. The band is going to come up and lead us a little bit. Please, if you need to talk after this, find someone who'll be happy to talk to you. Let's pray. God, I thank you so much that you're a God who knows us more than just day-to-day activities, Lord. That you're a God who set us in motion knowing that we would be in your image. Knowing what we would do every day, knowing what we would say in every moment. A God that has our backs when we don't even have our own backs. And I pray that we would realize that tonight, that our image is in you first and foremost, God. That your name is written on our hearts. God, and I pray that that could be seen by others. God, that that could be seen by our family members, our friends, people in our communities, Lord, and you would not be afraid of that. God, help us to realize where our image is, Lord. And I pray for those tonight, Lord, who know that something is not right with the image that they're trying to put out. God, I pray that you would give them a boldness, either confess or talk to somebody or pray. God, help us to be people who honor you, people of your word. And I thank you, I pray for the rest of this night, Lord, that it would just glorify you, we would be safe, Lord, that we would have a great time doing what we're going to do. I thank you, and I pray this in your name.